Hello students, welcome to all of you Shiksha 360. Today basically we have to cover the chapter number 9 of BFM, that is Gift City. Gift City, T. Gift City. So now let's start our discussion regarding that. First of all, we have to discuss here what is the meaning of that. So an International Financial Service Center, IFSC. Gift City presently, like we can say, that's situated in Gujarat also. So what is that? Let's discuss in detail here. So an International Financial Service Center caters to customer outside the jurisdiction of the domestic economy. Okay, basically for providing services to the customer outside the jurisdiction of the domestic economy. Such centers deal with the flows of finance, financial products and services across the borders with emphasis on the following. Clear on what things they are main focusing. First one, fundraising services. Fundraising services for the individuals, corporates and governments. Clear, fundraising services for the individuals, corporates and governments. Second one, asset management and global portfolio diversification. Clear, asset management and global portfolio diversification undertaken by the pension funds, insurance companies and mutual funds. Okay, so asset management and the global portfolio diversification undertaken by the pension funds, insurance companies, and the mutual funds. Third one, that is the wealth management. Also, it is comes under that. Fourth one, global tax management and cross-border tax liability optimization, which provides a business opportunity for the financial intermediaries, accountants, and law firms. Clear? Optimization, so that other persons can also come into that and grow their businesses also. Okay, if they are properly tax management and tax liability optimization. Next one, global and regional corporate treasury management operations. Global and regional corporate treasury management operations that involve fundraising, liquidity investment, and management of asset liability matching. Okay, so global and regional corporate treasury management operations that involve fundraising, liquidity investment, and management of asset liability matching. Next one, that is the risk management operations such as insurance and reinsurance. Last one, merger and acquisition activities among transnational companies. On all these things, it will be emphasis in the IFSC, that is International Financial Service Center. Clear? I think all of you are very well aware regarding what is the meaning of the merger and what is the meaning of the acquisition. Okay. All these things we have already covered in detail in the JIB. And if anyone has any doubt, any query regarding any terminology, you can comment in the comment section. I will share the link of that session so that you can go through that and gain the understanding what is the meaning of that terminologies. Now move to the next point. Scope of the IFSC in India. International Financial Service Center. So banks in International Financial Service Center basically operate as foreign banks. These banks basically operate as foreign banks in the home country and are not subject to the domestic reserve requirements on the deposits. Clear? Basically, these types of banks operate as a foreign banks also in their own country, and they are not entitled to like the requirements the other banks as per the RBI guidelines they have to hold, like on the SLR, CRR, all these things they have not to maintain here presently. And what is their main motive? That is, they seek deposits from the non-resident citizens and can extend loans only to the non-residents. Banks in IFSCs are also permitted to lend in the foreign currencies to both the resident corporate for the trade transaction and the non-residents. Clear? Here, their main motive is to raise the foreign currency and to lend to the foreign citizens and also to the resident corporates in the foreign currency for their business purposes. Okay. The main objective of the IFSC is to develop a strong global connect and focus on the needs of the Indian economy as well as to serve as an international destination for the corporates in their financial activities. The Special Economic Zone Act 2005, ESCZ, that is Special Economic Zone Act 2005, allows setting up an IFSC in an SCZ or as an SCZ after obtaining approval from the central government. Okay. So basically, SCZ Act allows setting up an IFSC in the SCZ, and from where SCZ takes the operation, that is from the central government. Since India has many restrictions on the financial sector, such as partial capital account convertibility, high SLR requirements, and foreign investment restrictions. So an SCZ can serve as a testing ground for the financial sector reforms before they are rolled out in the entire nation. Okay. So presently they are existing at the SCZ. So why it is known as the gift city? Clear? So what is the reference? Why it is showing it has to be the gift city? So now let's discuss it further. So apart from the SCZ related incentives, as per the SCZ Act, there is an exemption from the securities transaction tax. What is the security transaction tax? I will discuss in the next slide. Levied under Section 98 of the Finance Act 2004 in case of taxable securities transaction that are entered into by the non-resident through the IFSC. Clear? So basically in the SCZ, there are also exemptions regarding the security transaction tax that is levied under Section 98 of the Finance Act 2004. So what is gift city? So with the above objectives in the mind, the Gujarat International Financial Technology Tech City, that is to be known as gift city. Clear? What is the full form of gift city? That is Gujarat International Financial Technology Tech City, was established at Gandhinagar, Gujarat, and started functioning from 5th of December 2019 with the 225 companies, including 3 PSBs, 9 private sector banks, and 3 MNCs. Okay. So presently, Gift City, it is operating in which city, in which state? That is, it is in the Gujarat state. So can anyone tell? Basically, it is work. Gift City, it is in which city? Okay. So one question from my side, basically where it is located in the India. Gift City, like it is in the Gujarat, in the Ahmedabad district. Kindly remember that. On the banks of the river Sabarmati. In Ahmedabad. If at any place I am doing any spelling mistake, kindly correct me. Okay. So now move to the next point. So for all sessions, you can join our courses for JAB, CAP certificate course for the promotion examination. Okay. Different types of the courses are available for your benefit. Now, next point, what is STT? That is Security Transaction Tax. Now, let's discuss here in detail, which is exempted as per the SCZ Act 2005. So, Security Transaction Tax, it is a type of the tax that is charged on the purchase and sale of securities. Clear? Security Transaction Tax, it is a type of the tax that is charged on the purchase and the sale of securities like stocks, mutual funds, and derivatives on a recognized stock exchange in India. Clear? That is when we are doing the transaction, whether we are purchasing or whether we are selling. Clear? So security transaction tax, it is a type of the tax that is charged on the purchase and the sale of securities like stocks, mutual funds, and derivatives on the recognized stock exchanges in India. So it is a direct tax, that is, it is being levied directly on the transaction value of the securities. This means that security transaction tax, it is an additional cost that buyers and sellers have to bear, making the transaction more expensive. Clear? It leads to the transaction more expensive. So the security transaction tax, it is governed by the Security Transaction Tax Act. So I think it is clear to all of you, basically when the security transaction tax it is to be levied, and it is governed by the security transaction tax, it is governed by the STT, it is governed by the Security Transaction Tax Act, which lists the various types of securities transactions that are to be taxable. These include what are these types of the transaction? Equity, derivatives, and unit of equity oriented mutual funds. Security transaction tax further also applies to the unlisted shares sold under an offer for sale to the public that is subsequently listed on the stock exchange. Clear? STT basically also applies to the unlisted shares sold under an offer for sale to the public that is subsequently listed on the stock exchange. Clear? That is subsequently listed on the stock exchange. Now move to the next point here. So all of you are able to understand what is IFSC, what is gift city, and what is security transaction tax. Now next point which we have to discuss here, what are the opportunities of a gift city? Clear? Why the government is focusing on that? Okay. Opportunities at the gift city. First one, access to large hinterland economy. Clear? Access to large hinterland economy. So anyone tell basically what is the meaning of the hinterland? Basically hinterland, we can say that like here, the land behind the coast or the banks of the river or an area of the country that is far away from the city, that is this type of the land, it is connected to the ports so that we can easily do business with the other countries and exchange of goods can take place through them. Okay. In simple language, you can say that are connected to the ports for doing the business and led to the economic growth. Okay. Next one, assessed. First one, that is access to large hinterland economy. Next one, access to international markets. Third one, that is connecting 30 million strong Indian diaspora. Diaspora basically means that they are the citizens of the country, but now they are moved to the other country. Clear? But they are now moved to the other country. That is the meaning of the word diaspora. Clear? That is the meaning of the word diaspora. That is, we have to connect our Indian citizens who are now living in the another countries. Okay, which has been a combined net worth of USD 3 trillion to the India through the IFSC. Inbound and outbound gateway for the international financial services, potential to be a leading destination for global in-house centers with a globally competitive cost structure, attracting global talent to the world-class fintech hub in the gift city, are emerging as a leading hub for the fund administration. Clear? Emerging as a leading hub for the fund administration. The rest all points are to be common. 1 or 2 points, it is a little bit tricky one. So I have discussed regarding in detail. That is first one, that is the hinterland economy. We have already covered. And what is the meaning of Indian diaspora? Okay. So if you have any doubt, any point, you can also tell here. Okay. We will now move to the next one. What are the key business opportunities with respect to the segment wise under the gift city? First one, that is the wholesale banking. ECB, that stands for the external commercial borrowing. Okay, ECB and trade finance, factoring and forfeiting services. We have already discussed in detail regarding the factoring and forfeiting services. Guarantee and indemnity business, equipment leasing, credit enhancement and insurance, risk participation in the international trade finance services, and participation in the aircraft leasing or syndicated loan. Syndicated loan, that is by giving by 2 to 3 banks, the joint loans. All these things are covered under the wholesale banking. I will repeat once: ECB and the trade finance, factoring and forfeiting services, guarantee and indemnity business, equipment leasing, credit enhancement and insurance, risk participation, participation in the international trade finance services, participation in the aircraft leasing or syndicated loans. Next point, that is what are the capital market here? Capital market includes merchant banking, trading and clearing members of the IFSC exchange, funding of alternative investment funds, custodian of securities. All these things comes under the capital. Yeah. Retail banking, normal day-to-day things, capital, that is we have to acquire any assets. Okay, or securities. Retail banking, what is private banking, wealth management, retail banking products such as structured deposits, deposit accounts, certificate of deposits. What it comes under the treasury management. Treasury management, that is first one, that is ALM. ALM stands for the asset liability management. Clear? Here, first point under the ALM stands for the asset liability management. So ALM derivatives in Forex, credit and interest rate, consolidated group-wise derivative trading, including NDF in INR, and other foreign currencies to the managed risk. All these things in covered under the module C. What are the other opportunities under that? First one, distribution of the mutual fund, distributor of the mutual fund units, insurance and other financial products, investment advisory services, portfolio management services, trustee and fiduciary services, regional administrative office and representative office. Clear? All these are to be the key business opportunities. Just we have to remember the basics. First one, that is the wholesale banking. Second one, that is the retail banking. Third one, that is the capital market. Fourth one, that is the treasury management. Fifth one, that is the other opportunity. Clear? If any question they will give you in the examination directly, you will find from here. Okay. Now move to the other points. These are some of the guidelines for setting up an IFSC banking unit, IBU. Here, this is also very, very important for the examination point of view. That is like in the form of the case study, they will ask this type of question. Like what is the full form of IBU here? So international, basically IFSC banking unit, clear IFSC banking unit. This is the full form of that. Now there are one or two points regarding that. What are the guidelines for setting up IFSC banking unit by the Indian banks? So first one, what is the eligibility that Indian banks, that is the banking in the public sector and the private sector, authorized to deal in the foreign exchange, will be eligible to set up IBU. Each eligible bank would be permitted to set up only one IBU in each IFSC. Clear? Each eligible bank would be permitted to set only one IBU in each IFSC. Second one, licensing. So eligible banks interested in setting up IBUs, IFSC banking units, will be required to obtain prior permission of the RBI for opening an IBU. Clear? Because the banks established at these places have not any restriction regarding the SLR requirement and other restrictions. Okay. So for most regulatory purposes, an IBU will be treated on par with the foreign branch of an Indian bank. Clear? That branch opened in the basically gift city here will be treated as a foreign bank branch of the Indian bank in the Indian country. Clear? So these are the some specific guidelines for that. Capital. The parent will be required to provide a minimum capital of USD 20 million or equivalent in any foreign currency to its IBU, which should be maintained at all the times. Reserve requirements. The liabilities of the IBU are exempt from both CRR and SLR requirements of the RBI. Very, very important for the examination point of view. Basically, sometimes they will ask the question basically at where the banks are exempted from both the CRR and SLR requirements of the RBI. Clear? That is the bank situated in the gift city. Clear? Or the IFSC, International Financial Service Unit. Now move to the next point here. What are the resources and deployment? The funds raised here. Basically from where? From the non-residents. Clear? The fund raised will be from the non-residents and overseas branches of the Indian banks. Deployment of funds can be with both person resident in India as well as the person resident outside India. However, deployment of funds with the person resident in India shall be subject to the provisions of FEMA 1999. Clear? Operational expense, cash transaction and saving bank accounts are not permitted here. Specifically, that is for the business transaction for the current account. So deposits can be maintained in the current accounts and term deposits. Indian KYC, AML and delinquency norms are applicable. Deposits with IBUs are not insured. Very, very important here. Deposits with IBUs are not insured because they are not taking any charges for that. Okay, like deposits with IBUs are not insured here. These are all the very important questions you will find in the examinations. Very basic points, but definitely you will find in the examination regarding that. Okay, so now there are overall IFSC regulatory framework and some are the full forms. So I will go with the full forms here. I think most of the full forms we have already covered. First one, SCZ. That is Special Economic Zone. It is an area where the business and trade laws are different from the rest of the country. Second one, FEMA, Foreign Exchange Management Act 1999, enacted in the Parliament to facilitate external trade and payments and orderly development and maintenance of foreign exchange markets in India. Next one, IFSCA, that is the International Financial Service Center Authority. It is a unified authority for the development and regulation of financial services in the International Financial Service Center in India. Fourth one, that is the gift city, that is Gujarat International Financial Tech City, established on 5th of December 29 at Gandhinagar in Gujarat. Okay. Initially, I have said the Ahmedabad, clear, in Ahmedabad also there. So IBU, that is the International Financial Service Center Banking Units, equivalent to an overseas branch at an overseas location for all practical purposes. ECB, that is external commercial borrowing, that is Indian entities borrowing from abroad for capital expansion purposes and in a very limited way for working capital requirements. Clear? That is basically external commercial borrowing basically for the capital expansion purposes. ALM, that is the asset liability management, that is managing the assets and liabilities of the banks in mitigating the risk involved. NDF stands for the non-deliverable forwards. It is a cash settle and usually a short-term forward contract where the notional amount is never exchanged. CR, that is the cash reserve ratio. So all scheduled banks need to maintain a stipulated percentage of their net demand and time liabilities in the form of the cash and cash equivalents with the RBI. Clear? In the form of the cash and cash equivalents with the RBI. These are some of the full forms. And now next other are SLR, that is the statutory liquidity ratio. Clear? PFRDA, Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. Clear? PFRDA stands for the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority. IRDA, that is Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. IRDA. WOS, that is wholly owned subsidiary, where the entity equity contribution in a foreign entity is invested by the Indian party. Very, very important. That is WS, that is wholly owned subsidiary, where the entity entire equity contribution in a foreign entity is invested by the Indian party. Next one, that is joint ventures. JV, that is joint ventures, where the equity contribution in a foreign entity is invested by both the Indian party and by the overseas entity. Clear? In the joint venture by the Indian party and as well as by the overseas entity. Escrow account, that is an account open for a specific purpose and the benefits of the parties concerned, where there is a tripartite agreement or an understanding in operating the account. Clear? It is like, we can say that like it is a trust account. Clear? What is that? I will discuss in detail regarding that in a separate video. Clear? Escrow account, very, very important. That it is an account open for a specific purpose and the benefits of the parties concerned, where there is a tripartite agreement or an understanding on operating the account. Next one, that is LCR. Liquidity coverage ratio, establish the relationship between the liquid assets and the short-term obligations. NSFT, FR, net stable funding ratio. establish the relationship between the company holding sufficient stable funds to cover the duration of the long-term assets of the company. Clear? Holding the relationship between the company holding sufficient stable funds to cover the duration of the long-term assets of the company. Last point, that is what is ADR. ADR stands for the American Depository Receipts. Clear? ADR stands for the American Depository Receipts. Clear? So all of you are able to understand some of the basic points of the IFSC banking unit or the gift city, and I request all of you kindly go through all these questions. I will provide you the already slides in the group. If you have any doubt, any query regarding that, so you can ask the questions in the comment section or in the group. So thanks to all of you for joining this session. For elective IT, you can join also our sessions. Continuously sessions will be conducted and available both live session and as well as in the recording form. So thanks to all of you for joining this discussion. We'll discuss some other questions in the group for the same, along with some other discussions.